In this lesson, we're going to look at the use of higher order functions in Python, and we're going to look at three in particular: map, filter, and reduce. Those are three of the more popular higher order functions found in many other languages as well as Python. So let's get started. We're going to call this program highorder.py. So we'll start with the review, and we'll review the map function, which we looked at in the previous lesson. So the first thing we're going to do is define a function square, and it squares a number, as you can tell. Then we'll create a list of numbers. We'll just do 3 to keep it short. And then we're going to say numbers squared is equal to list, then map, then our function name, followed by the sequence of data we want to apply the function to. So remember what map does. Map takes a function and applies it to all of the elements of a given sequence. So we'll have the numbers printed here, and then we will print the square. So let's save that, go back to our command prompt, and run it. And so 1, 2, 3 becomes 1, 4, 9, in a new list, of course. So that's how map works. Let's look at a second higher order function called filter. Filter will take a function, quite often a Boolean function or predicate, and then return only those elements of a sequence that meet that criteria. So to give you an example of how that works, we're going to create a function called even, which takes a number and then looks to see if the number is even. And the way we do that is we take the number modulo 2, and if that remainder is equal to 0, then the number is even. Otherwise, the number is odd. To use filter, we'll first create a range of numbers. This time we'll create a list in the range 1 to 10, and then we'll say evens equal list filter even numbers. So again, the way filter works is filter applies the given function to the sequence and returns those elements of the sequence that match or that are true when passed to the function. So what we should get when we display evens are just the even numbers in the range from 1 to 10. All right, so let's save that program, bring up our command prompt, clear the screen. So our range started out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then after applying even to a filter, it returns 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10, only the even numbers. So that's how filter works. Our third example is a function called reduce. What we're going to do with reduce is we're going to use it to create an easy way to sum a sequence of numbers. So first thing we're going to do is create a sum function. Then we'll create a range of numbers again, this time 1 through 10. And then we're going to call the reduce function. It's a little bit different. We have to call a special library, functools, with our function and our sequence. And so to make that work, we're going to have to import the library. So first thing we need to do is import functools, which stands for functional tools, and reduce is found in this library. So then we're going to create a list of numbers from 1 to 10. Then we call reduce from the library with our sum function and our sequence, and it's going to access the sequence one by one, taking each value and adding it to the next value using our sum function. Then we'll display the result. Let's display the range also. Save our program. Let's clear the screen. There's our range, 1 through 10, and the sum of 1 through 10, or the range, is 55, and that's correct. So here you've seen examples of 3 higher order functions: map, filter, and reduce. One of the nice things about these functions is that it gives us the ability to do some fairly complex programming in a very small number of lines of code. The advantage to that, of course, is that you increase your productivity and you reduce your chances of errors. So with that, we're finished with this chapter, at least the lessons on part 2 of functions. And what we're ready to do now is move on to the exercises where we're going to work with recursive functions, anonymous functions, and higher order functions. And we'll start in the first exercise looking at recursive functions.